We have been informed that Lutz has already won the dice roll, so he is going to be able to set up perhaps quite a strong field, depending on the hand.
Absolutely. It's Blitzclique is an interesting deck because even if you just kind of set one pass, it's not necessarily a bad hand for you.
Yeah.
You could have a lot of interactions there, and I know from trying this matchup myself, it can actually be a bit of an uphill battle for Fairy Tail if they are not able to keep their monsters on the field.
Why is that?
They need to have something on the field to keep getting their extra monsters out. You need to have, even if it's just an opponent's monster, there needs to be something there to keep playing. We do see the Radiant Typhoon Visions being activated here by Lutz, and drawing to hopefully having something to discard would be disastrous if not, but I'm assuming there we go. We see this card being discarded as well. I don't know what that card is. Let's have a look.
Never heard of it.
That card is...
Super Leitender Plasma Knall. I don't know why we have the German translation, but it is Super Conductive Plasma Blast.
Thank you. There we go. Very interesting. I think also quite a new card as well.
Oh, we are setting to and passing even after resolving a vision, but as you said, that might not mean that there is nothing in Lutz's hand, because cards like Alternator can actually allow you to start playing on the opposing turn. But Henry is starting with the Endymion spell that is going to get us a Prince of Endymion rather quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a good little package to include in the deck as well. The Empire of Endymion lets you special summon one of those from your hand, as well as optionally, I believe, send one of your Prince of Endymion to the graveyard to protect something else from destruction. So this little package is very good into the Blitzclique matchup. It's just other things which might struggle here. But we're going to see here the add of the Prince of Endymion, now using the effect to reveal it from hand along with their Match Giru to summon itself and taking a bit of damage there for Henry.
So, but you can destroy the Empire of Endymion. That is...
I believe... You know what? I'm not sure.
Let me just give this a quick read. If a card you control would be destroyed by battle card effect, you can destroy one regular the Prince of Endymion in your hand or face up field instead.
There you go. A card, not monster. I was thinking monster, but it's just any card. So yeah, it does a lot. It helps the strategy out a great deal. It's a nice thing, especially in the Genesys format where you're against Blitzclique so much. It does help out the strategy a lot. Taking this approach rather than the Necros approach, which is interesting, because the Necros approach has been very popular in the Genesys format, as the Necros cards do essentially just give you a lot of free level 4 spellcasters on the field. We see the summon here of the Fairy Tail, I believe. That is Rochka, I think.
Yeah. It is very interesting that the Empire of Endymion does not really stop the Blitzclique deck from activating their effects, because they just require something to be destroyed by card effects.
Yeah.
And the protection effect still destroys something by card effect.
It does do that, unfortunately, but I guess it can protect the thing that you want to keep around more than anything. But we see here the effect of Rochka. You make your opponent gain 500 life points, and then your opponent looks at the top 3 cards of your deck, chooses one for you to add to your hand, and then shuffle the rest back into your deck. It's a very weird effect.
Yeah.
It can open up the opportunities for your opponent just to give you nothing and see more of your deck. So it's a strange one, but it's not necessarily a bad effect if, like here, you did see a lot of engine.
Honestly, yeah, he just hit 3 different engine cards, and that just makes these choice so incredibly difficult. Wonder how much practice Lutz has versus the Fairy Tail deck. But Rochka seems like a perfectly fine card if you're in an advantageous spot already, because Lutz has really not developed anything. And what does that mean for a Blitzclique deck if you have just 2 set cards and pass? I think there might be something like an Alternator and a Whisker, and those actually would still play. So if you go Alternator, you shuffle back a possibly other Blitzclique card. We have a Crackle!
Ooh, Blitzclique Crackle being activated from the hand here. I think that does, I don't know if it targets or just destroys the last thing that activated. I think it's the last thing that activated, so I think that'll be the Match Giru being destroyed when this is summoned to the field here.
Or the Endymion.
Or the Endymion.
Very importantly, the destruction happens before the Crackle is being summoned.
I see.
So therefore the card that is being summoned out by Crackle, any Thunder monster from hand, cannot trigger.
Interesting. Fascinating, that is. Wow.
Yeah, that is the balancing on basically all of those Blitzclique cards, where you are just going to have to destroy something to summon them out, and then afterwards you need to destroy something else. Other than that, Column the Hideout in the Sky would be an insane starter.
Absolutely. So we see the Fairy Tale Ball being added to hand here. Such an insanely powerful card for the Fairy Tale strategy. Any deck would love to have this card.
Yeah.
So it is a searcher. You activate it, add a Fairy Tale card from deck to hand. It allows Fairy Tale to attack directly, which is also incredible. But the main effect, which I find fascinating, is if your opponent special summons a monster, you can target any monster your opponent controls, change its name to Prince of Fairies permanently, and also permanently negate its effects as well. So, we do see the Cosmic Cyclone coming down here, though, unfortunately putting a stop to this powerful card.
But that is wild, playing Cosmic Cyclone in a deck like Blitzclique, where you would say Mystical Space Typhoon was basically designed for this. However, you do want something of this in the main deck for example, the Mirror Image there is pretty strong. If you chain this to an Alternator, because Alternator shuffles back for cost. So if you chain a Cosmic Cyclone to that, though, you might actually take away a lot of their resources.
Yeah, absolutely. Very powerful indeed. Seeing if Henry can push through here. I think what Henry might be doing here is just trying to use as many interactions, as many pushes as possible before getting to the Wicket, because that is the main choke point the deck seems to have, is if you can stop the Wicket from activating or resolving, it is a real stopper for a lot of your plays, unless you've been lucky enough to draw the cards that you need from sending off of Wicket.
So walk me through this. What exactly does Wicket set up? What does it do for the deck?
So Wicket can detach as many as it wants to send the same amount of Fairy Tale named cards from deck to graveyard. So that can send the Quick Play spell once upon a Fairy Tale, which has the effect of when it's sent to the graveyard, you can set it from the graveyard, apart from the field. The Equip spell, which can equip from the graveyard, or not that it's in this deck, but something like Snow. So it fills your graveyard with all these things that can come out of the graveyard. It's essentially a Surge 2. It's a very powerful card.
That is pretty strong indeed. The first thing that came to my mind was Fairy Tale Snow, but of course this card has quite some points to its name.
85 currently in the Genesys format, so it's very costly to play. Not impossible, but very costly indeed. And we do see here an overlay being formed, and I believe this may well be the summon of, yes it is, the Fairy Tale Wicket. Also has another effect from the graveyard where it can quick effect to target a light Fairy Tale monster you control, summon itself, and then send that card to the graveyard. Ooh. So it can again with Snow, take it back to the graveyard, summon itself again. But we see here the effect to send to, I believe we are sending the Once Upon a Fairy Tale, and I think that...
Luna.
Yeah, that's interesting, because Luna doesn't really have any utility from the graveyard here.
Perhaps we have an effect that special summons it back from the graveyard. That doesn't do anything for it, because it has to be normal summon in order to activate the summon effect.
I mean, it does have the effects on the field as well, where it can target an opponent's monster to essentially send it back to your opponent's hand, unless your opponent can do something just to you can ash that effect, for example, or just use the effect. Your opponent can also stop this by sending a card of the same name from the deck or extra deck to the graveyard.
Now, that was also a pretty minimalistic setup for Henry. There was just a Cosmic Cyclone that basically put not an end to the turn, but stopped it from absolutely wreaking havoc. Now, Lutz, where are you going with this turn? Because you need to find something to play with. You're already down on so little life points.
Yeah, this is a very interesting place to be for Lutz here. By no means unwinnable, but a strange place. We do see the normal summon of the Crackle here, though.
That is one of the weaker Blitzclique cards. And now we're going to have the Plasma Blast activated again. So this card stacks your deck a little bit. So you can place a Thunder or Rock monster from your deck on top of your deck, and then you have a Thunder monster in the field or GY. You can destroy one card on the field. Okay, so I see why this is good in Blitzclique.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you actually get to stack your deck, and well, with Crackle that doesn't really matter too much, but you actually get to destroy something that is quite huge.
Another effect of Wicket, which is going unused here, unfortunately, is that it makes your light Fairy Tale monsters unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. So it's very strong. We do see, thinking about it, we see the Forbidden Chalice activated here as well.
That is huge, especially if this was the card that was being targeted, and we are packing our things up. Lutz really needed that Crackle effect to resolve. Crackle can, of course, send Alternator, and Alternator then gets you started by banishing itself. You can find yourself a Breakaway or a Column Hideout in the Sky. If you can't, then you won't.
Difficult, yeah. That was a good display of what both strategies can do there, I think, because it was an unfortunate hand maybe for Lutz, but I don't think terrible. I think he did well to keep Henry off of finding it, because Fairy Tail can find game quickly. Fairy Tail can find game very quickly in this situation, and he managed to keep him off of that and get back to his own turn to hopefully keep playing and find more ways to keep playing the game.
The Cosmic Cyclone was very well placed. That is a good answer to the Fairy Tail ball.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling to find the good showcase on what Blitzclique can do, because he really didn't do anything.
What I should say is a good showcase on the player's skill there. So a fair point, well made. But yeah, as I say, I think both players did well there with the hands they were dealt, literally, and the cards they were using, cards they were given.
I do think it was a good showcase on what can happen as a downside of the Blitzclique deck, because not every strategy can be perfect. Actually, very few strategies are perfect. I think the only example that comes off the top of my head is actually Tear Elements back in the day.
Yeah,
that was the perfect deck. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm starting to go through all the nostalgic elements again.
I've also just spotted some very interesting cards in... we have Henry's side deck here, and extra deck as well. I've spotted something which has really caught my attention, that being the Quintet Magician. A powerful card which, with the help of Super Polymerization, you can summon during the opponent's turn to get the effect to destroy your opponent's field. And makes Yugioh the Confounder as well, which does that as well. But I think we are gearing up and getting ready to go into Game 2 shortly. I'm not entirely sure on that, but we do see interesting cards here as well.
Let's see. Yeah, Henry is still a little bit in the sideboarding process, but we're getting a last good shuffle in there. Hopefully, Lutz has shuffled his deck well enough too, so that he can actually show us what the Blitzclique is made of, because that deck has some really, really cool interaction. I want to see some Whisker action.
Absolutely. We're fantastic to see some of the Blitzclique brand new strategy pop off in a way that we've not seen in this game. We've seen it over the weekend a few times. It can do a spectacular job and do very well, but in this game, although again I think Lutz did a fantastic job with the hand he was dealt, was not quite enough to take the game there from the Fairy Tail strategy and from Henry. But again, just checking side deck options here, some very interesting ones here. Some fairly standard things we have, like Santa Claus, Kaijus, things like that. But we also have one of my favorite cards in this current format is Pair Bear Scare. A very interesting card.
So cool.
The thought process of this, the thought experiment of this card is, if this card is good, no it's not. If this card is bad, then it's really good again, because it's all about usage. But we also see something like Giant Trunade, which is really interesting. Could come in very handy.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. The deck can find game incredibly quickly, right? The ball enables you to just attack directly with everything.
I call it Fairy Temper. It does it so much.
Yeah, but I think it's a Hatronade.
Oh, is it Hatronade? I see. The artwork's very similar.
But the players are ready, so I think we're going to give them the go. They can start playing, so we're just going to wait until the confirmation. That is no problem. We have a second, but the players, Lutz and Henry, they're staring each other down. They're ready for the game. Fist bump of sportsmanship, and we're going in. Lutz, can you show us what the Blitzclique is made of?
Also just noticed Lutz's extra deck here as well. I hadn't even noticed that part of the strategy. That's very silly of me, but we see some of the Angelic cards here in the deck, and I don't think we saw that at all during Game 1 there.
No, that is true. I mean, he had nothing to play with, but if you go second, a good old opening to E4 is pretty strong. Now, that normal summon Surge is a decent start, but that also does mean that something else is going to happen. We set a trap card, so are we showing a Grain? Oh my goodness, we got to discard the Breakaway, which is not the worst thing in the world, and Twin Twister our own spell trap card. Now Henry, I mean, what could you possibly have in your hand to answer a Twin Twister on his own card?
No, there's no way. There's simply no way to start. And I don't know what is even... I don't think you can. That's not possible, surely.
Yeah. So now you have actually a plethora of cards. So you have revealed 4 of your 5 cards in hand already, but actually Lutz now gets to start playing. So Surge can trigger off of this. Breakaway, I'm just checking if Breakaway triggers on any destruction, or if it has to be...
I believe it's of your...
It's Blitzclique.
Yeah, of your own Blitzclique cards, yeah, absolutely. But still, that can happen very easily in this strategy as well.
Especially since you have the Alternator in the graveyard already, so that is pretty much fine.
Speaking of our favoured strategies, you are planning on playing Blitzclique yourself, are you not?
Yes, and I want to play it as well in the just constructed format.
Yes.
Really big fan of that. We still have some pretty strong players in the tournament. Very few players are XO by now, very few X1s as well. But we have some X2 Blitzcliques that I'm quite excited to see in the long run.
Yeah. We see the column being added now to the hand activated. If we have any way to answer this, it would be fantastic, but doesn't seem like we're going to get that.
And now it seems like we're going to get the full setup. We're going to give the token over, and then you can actually just, I think we've added the grain before with the search. So grain pop the hideout in the sky, trigger search, and search we have triggered already, but trigger the breakaway. Breakaway can give us the alternator, and then we're already basically set up, right? Because you are going to be able to set up another. Oh, we got Whisker here. That's also
very good.
Very much fine. Whisker is an insane card.
It really is. It's a wonderful card. It's one of those things which I can understand. Like my sort of deck building thought process says play it at 1 because it's kind of not maybe the best thing by itself, but you kind of have to play it at 3 because it's such a powerful boss monster to be able to summon and use every turn.
Let me tell you something. In Blitzclique, nothing plays by itself.
No.
There isn't a single one-card combo in the entire deck that does anything.
But I also like decks like that.
Yeah.
I like decks that you need to sort of examine, like Vanquish Soul was like that. You need to examine your hand and see how best to play each turn. But we do see here the Grain Blitzclique being activated from hand, destroying the Hidden City. Hidden City?
Hideout in the Sky.
Hideout in the Sky, thank you, Callum, to summon itself.
Card is actually named after the physician that discovered electromagnetism.
Did not know that.
Yeah, his name was Charles, actually. Charles Coulomb.
That's really cool.
It is.
Wow, I've learned a new thing today, thank you.
It was 85% true. There's an 85% chance I messed some of the facts up, but that is what it's supposed to be.
Fascinating, thank you.
And maybe it's just an accident, right?
Well,
I'm not here to confirm any intention behind the naming of the card. But
I'm choosing to believe you.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. We do see, the Ghost, Mourner, and Moonlit Chill activated from hand here. And also the DD Crow sending the breakaway out as well.
That is honestly pretty strong because we know there's only one more card in hand for Lutz, and that is just... Honestly, if that is not a huge card... Actually, from the hand movement, I think there's 2 cards because we have the Whisker as well. I think we searched that at some point. So you could special summon out the Whisker, pop the token, and then you can at least trigger the Hideout in the Sky from your graveyard.
Could do that.
So you get some follow-up, and you have, of course, then the Whisker on your field that can be used to bounce something back to negate a monster effect, which you really would need because your field does nothing anymore right now. However, if that set spell or trap card is something like a Twin Twister, and the Glare promised me something like that.
Yeah.
If you actually get to pop something here, you have got everything you want. You have Surge, you have the ability to add another Whisker, you have Grain for follow-up.
Yeah. Also, again, like it's so impactful into the field spell. You don't necessarily use it on the equip spell because that can come back from... Unless it's come back from graveyard already, then maybe. But you use it generally on the field spell because that's going to be a way to find game as well.
It also is a little bit of a tell that he did not play the Coulomb because this card would give the monsters that are summoned from hand plus 500 attack points. And if that's the only card in your hand, you need a discard for the Twin Twister.
Interesting. Yeah, you make a very good point there. Oh, wow. Yeah, very good point indeed. And I guess on the plus side, if it doesn't get used, which I imagine it will be, but if it doesn't get used, it's follow-up the next turn as well. So it doesn't have that dual purpose of it's discard fodder or use it again.
That is true. Twin Twister. It's so cool to see some cards like those again. I remember it was revolutionary when Breakers of Shadow came out. Super Polymerization is a huge, huge hit. So Surge and the Whisker. Oh, that is so brutal. But what are you summoning, though? They're all Thunder, I would imagine.
Truly, they are all Earth Thunders. So this can be the Garura, the Wings of Resonant Life.
Yeah, and Lutz can't be too happy about that. I'm going to be honest with you. I think if you are reading a Twin Twist, I mean, you have just seen one, you have seen the Coulomb not being activated. I think before you activate any sort of spell traps, you attack over the Grain. And that is exactly what Henry is doing.
That is very heads-up play there.
just not giving you any chances to trigger anything, because you know that the cards in your graveyard, the hideout in this guy, is also not going to add itself back when a Twin Twister is destroying it, because it also needs a Blitzclique effect. Oh, we also don't have anything else to play with, so that's...
Unfortunate. I think that was the forbidden challenge we see against set there as well. So at the very least, being able to hopefully stop the first and maybe only play from Lutz here as well. But if that is a Twin Twister, then that is not going to be a big concern here.
But if the... Okay, we are discarding the Step Leader. And that is really, really good here, I think. Oh, we are forbidden chalicing our own Garura Resonant Wings of Life, so we actually do get 400 attack points more. Plays like this, they throw me back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's worth doing because it's just a slightly bigger body on the field, just a slightly better chance of being protected, and it's not doing anything on the field during opponent's turn either way. You need to be destroyed to do anything during the opponent's turn.
So how many interactions can Lutz get out of his sleeve here? Because we just said there is no one-card combos in this deck. He just discarded a Step Leader for the Twin Twister, so that is a card that could theoretically add itself back upon the destruction of something. What if you Surge? Then you pop it, you get the Step Leader, and then what?
I think this is the thing, because I don't think this is a one-card combo because the graveyard is already stacked up here, but we do see the Surge being added to hand, as you correctly predicted there.
I don't think this plays.
Maybe not. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how Lutz plays this out. Using the Surge to destroy the token, wouldn't want to destroy that Garura in the slightest here.
There's another graveyard. There's the Step Leader effect, and I think Step Leader just summons something from hand.
I see.
And then destroys itself. Or is there a way to just destroy it without summoning something? Because that would then absolutely play. So let me get this card up real quick. If a card is destroyed by Blitzclique's card effect, you can also target a Thunder monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand.
Interesting.
No, this card really needs more to play.
We see the Skullmaster coming down and answer that being added back to hand. There is nothing Lutz can do. Play does pass back to Henry here. Doesn't really have any ways to play at the moment, but only needs one card to get going, and that will very quickly find him the game.
But Lutz is still sitting on a 2000 attack point Surge. Garura can crash into that, draw him a card, but then he wouldn't find game that turn.
No. Because
the battle phase would have been used. So Lutz is definitely right now threatening to win the grind game. Has the Step Leader in the graveyard as well that can possibly trigger, so Henry will need to find a way to go through this and then also try and remove the Kulum, because otherwise Lutz will start to run away with the game slowly but surely, adding a card each turn. So Garura is going to crash into the Surge. That is going to give you an extra draw. Garura is such a huge card ever since it came out.
Absolutely. Very unfortunate fact they didn't have the way to play here for Henry as well. Hopefully, I think I spy a Fairy Tale Ball in the hand here. There we go. That is going to do a lot here. Don't think it's going to get quite everything by itself, but it is at the very least going to set up a decent field here for Henry.
So what are the next steps that you're taking? You are in this situation. You have nothing else except for the Fairy Tale Ball. Your opponent is also sitting on no interaction. What is your move?
It's a tough one. It is honestly a very difficult one. Fairy Tale Ball is not bad. I wouldn't call it a full one-card combo. It can do a lot by itself, but not everything. So we see the Luna, normal summon Luna, adding, I imagine, the Yugioh to hand here. Be shocked if it's not, or maybe a Genia. Genia might make more sense here, to be fair. I think we are going to be adding...
So what is the reasoning for this ad?
Genia of the Ring here. You add this instead of Yugioh. Because effectively what they're doing at the moment is the same thing. It's another thing on the field, another level 4 spellcaster. After that, it starts really being different. So you want to be able to send a Yugioh to the graveyard off of the effect of Wiccat, because Yugioh can summon itself from the graveyard, and then you can also add a one of the spells you haven't used yet. So yeah, this actually will get quite a lot here, because we can detach to send whichever spell of our choosing plus the Yugioh, which again the Yugioh can summon itself from graveyard, search for whichever spell we don't have yet in hand, and then continue to do with our plays.
So what is the end goal that we're trying to reach?
I think we're trying to end on the teller on the negate.
Yeah.
That might be all we can get here with maybe the quick play spell set. I think that's what we're going for. So the quick play spell will be able to summon up to 3 from, so it's up to 1 each from hand, graveyard, and banishment with different names, which allows you to flood your field essentially. But even if not that, even if it can just summon the Luna can do plenty by itself by just hopefully sending a monster back to the hand, which you can ensure will happen because you can change the name of the monster to Prince of Fairies. So if it's something you don't want in the field, change its name to the field spell, send it back to hand. Otherwise, there's the opportunity to stop that.
I see what you mean. However, I do think that Blitzclique would very much appreciate getting this Surge back to hand.
I've also just noticed, goodness me, so we have something we can do here, changing the name of this Surge. It's already changed to a spellcaster from Genie of the Ring effect. Now it's also called Prince of Fairies. This means we can use it as fusion material.
Oh.
Because the equip spell can use the opponent's monster called Prince of Fairies. It can't if it's not a spellcaster. It is now a spellcaster. So we're going to equip that to the match Giro, I believe, in the graveyard.
Is there a way to get rid of the Kulum?
Yes, if we summon Teller here, if you summon Teller using an opponent's Prince of Fairies as material, it destroys all the cards your opponent controls. So
that is a big effect.
Yeah, I was thinking about this in terms of the just in a vacuum, the field spell 1-card combo, not remembering, of course, the opponent's materials are our own materials here. So this is a lot more than I had once thought. We do see that Teller of Fairy Tales hitting the field and activating the effects to destroy that column. I'm not sure how much further we can go from here, but oh wait, no, we have the quick play spell. I don't know that we can find game from this, but
we used a battle phase already.
We did. I got excited.
But yeah, I get that. But I think just clearing off everything that your opponent has and having an Omni Negate on the field with the Teller on no cards in hand as well is pretty much telling the story of this game. Lutz cannot find a way to get his Blitzclique engine going in Game 1 or in Game 2 so far. And Henry is threatening with a few Fairy Tale monsters, the Wicked on the field. Next to the Teller, there's 1 card in hand for Lutz. What is this miraculous card that he just so desperately needs? Is there anything that can get him out of this sticky situation?
I really don't know. I'd love to see if it's at all possible, but goodness me.
Nope, it is not. And Lutz offers the fist bump of sportsmanship, gives up the game, shows the Angelecki problem, but he had other problems to deal with.
There you go, absolutely correct. We do see both these players at this point in the day are obviously very well versed in their decks and also knowing how their opponent's decks play as well. Very good to see they knew where to hit each other's interactions, how to use them, what to do, and did their best. And it was a fantastic game to watch, I have to say. It was really good fun.
Yep, it was very nice that we finally on stream see the power of the Fairy Tale deck.
Yeah.
Fusing with your opponent's monsters is absolutely massive, especially if you can then go for a complete board wipe. Also very nice use of the hand traps for Henry, really showing why playing a engine with basically no points is a massive advantage if you can still manage to put up a field. But this was it for this round for the Genesys Championships. You can still go over to the mainstream, watch the content there. See you soon.